Welcome back to How to Conduct a Successful Teleconference. My name is Cornelius Fichtner and your presenter is Gene Dutz. This is the second of the 6 modules in which Gene is going to take a closer look at how time management will help you to be more effective in your teleconferencing.
Time management. What is it? Well, it's the art of manipulating time in a positive manner using skills acquired through education and experience. Here are the learning goals. Why time management is the basis for effective teleconferences. How time management helps you stretch your budget. How time management helps you conserve a non-renewable resource. And how time management highlights your leadership skills. Time management. It's a precious resource. Have you ever sat in a meeting watching the minute hand tick relentlessly past the start time for the umpteenth time? Poor time management. That's what that is. How about time being a precious resource? Have you ever sat in a meeting waiting to state your opinion only to have the facilitator say, "That's it for today, folks"? Why am I here? How come I can't participate? And finally, the precious resource of time. Have you ever attended a meeting where the presenter is only halfway through, realizes time has slipped away, and finishes the balance of the remarks in less than 60 seconds? And you're sitting there going, "What? What about me?" It's frustrating. Poor time management is frustrating. You can end up banging your head on the table saying, "Why are we here? Why can't this person manage the time? We don't even cover what we're supposed to cover. Next time, I'm going to avoid the meeting. It's not worth my time to be sitting in on a meeting where somebody can't manage their time." What are the time constraints? Controlling content is one of them. 60 minutes of content will not fit into a 30-minute time slot. It's like trying to put 5 pounds of sugar into a 1-pound bag. You're going to get some of it, but you're going to lose an awful lot. The next is controlling frequency. How often should you have the meetings? Every 15 minutes a day? If it's a daily meeting, or if it's an hourly meeting, or what? You have to be able to control the frequency. That's one of your time constraints. And a third time constraint is the impact on participants. Maybe not all the participants are available at a particular time, so you have to work around their schedule in addition to your schedule. But it's important to let them know that, all right, I'm willing to go the extra mile here because your participation is very important to us. So let's make sure that we arrange it's either on a daily basis for a meeting or a weekly or a monthly, and where everybody's okay with the time frame. There are 3 more time constraints. The next one is expand location. You're not just in one time zone. You can be in multiple time zones, and you need to take that into consideration. That is a limiter. Time is a limiter on who can participate and when they can participate, and that's why location has to be taken into consideration.
Right, and here we're not talking about the time that passes, but the different time zones that people are in,
Correct.
right, as the limiter that we have.
Correct. For instance, I was on a teleconference a couple of weeks ago, and we're here in the LA area. The vendor is in Texas, and one of the participants was in India. So we had to work around everybody's schedule. So I ended up coming in at 6 in the morning to accommodate the person that was in India as well as the individuals in Houston. And it worked out very well. But
Right.
once again, the location limited when we could do the teleconference.
Yeah, and what happened to me yesterday is I had a 12:30 conference scheduled with somebody on the East Coast from California to New York, and it turns out that I miscalculated the time difference, so I was there an hour early. So that's another constraint there. You have to make sure that you calculate the time differences.
That's
correctly.
correct.
Right. We're moving on from expand location here to determine the hard tools. How does that affect the time?
Well, some hard tools, once again, we're getting back to, say, the WebEx, the equipment that you're using. Maybe it's only available certain times. Generally, it's a 724, but that might not be the case. Maybe some people in the audience don't have access to a computer at a particular time, and in order to use the software, you have to. Maybe they're in an airport. Are they going to participate over the phone? What are the tools that they'll be using? And what are the availability of those tools? Normally your office or your cubicle or whatever is set up so that you can do some teleconferencing, or you can walk across the hall or to the next building and do that. But maybe you can't do that at 5 a.m. in the morning. Maybe you can't get access, even though your client or the person you're talking with might be halfway across the world. So you need to prepare for that to determine if you're going to be able to get to that to those tools.
And lastly, we have the shaping of the soft tools. Same question I had for you with the hard tools. How does this now lead to constraints with time?
Well, when you're conducting a meeting, your soft tools, unless you're right in everybody's in the conference room with you or in the setting with you, you really have to convey meaning with your voice. You need to indicate the urgency or what have you, and you only have so much time to do that. And the soft tools and knowing how to speak authoritatively, how to indicate through your voice that you're listening, how to, in essence, empathize, how to convey, yes, that's important, or no, that's something that we can cover at a later date. Those are the soft tools, and most of that is coming through your voice. You just, unfortunately, don't have the luxury of being right in front of the person. However, you want to act as though you're in front of the person. If you do that, then your voice will demonstrate it, and you'll be really effective. And you want to do it quickly, though. You don't want to draw something out. The faster you can do that, then you're working within the time constraints of a 30-minute meeting or a 60-minute meeting.
Oh, I get it. So you're shaping the soft tools so that you can apply them quickly and effectively.
Correct.
Because you're doing a teleconference, you're making sure that you use them appropriately and you don't waste any time by drawing out and just going again and again and again.
That's why they're so important, and to work on them. And we'll get into that in
the soft tools module.
In the soft
yes.
tool module. But it's so important that you work on them and develop them because you only have a limited amount of time. And if it's coming across that, like I said, the urgency in your voice or the empathy in your voice or the excited
then there's
happiness,
no time
all of that.
lost.
No time lost. It gets it. You're comfortable with it. That's the key. You've developed it, you're comfortable with it, and it comes across in the teleconference. It makes it much more effective.
How do you feel about having a timekeeper in a teleconference?
I think a timekeeper in a teleconference is important. It depends on the length of the conference, however. If it's a brief one, 15, 30 minutes or so, I don't think it's necessary. Even 60 minutes, it's questionable whether or not you need a timekeeper. However, if you're going to go beyond the 60 minutes, then I think you need to give serious consideration to having somebody at least alert you as to what the time. I mean, that's what they do in a commercial. If you're doing a commercial, they're letting you know how much time you have left in your presentation.
Yeah, there's, of course, the next question. Should a teleconference even go beyond 60 minutes? How long can these people wearing the headsets in their cubicles, pay real attention to what's happening on the other side of the line? Yeah, that's something
That's
to
a
be
difficult,
determined.
and that is something to be determined. Normally, there'll be breaks,
Yeah.
and that's in essence kind of a timekeeping. You go for 60 minutes, okay, and you let people know ahead of time. We're going to break. This is a 3-hour teleconference, but we're going to break on the hour, so
Okay.
everybody can, gather themselves together, get a drink, use the restroom, whatever, and then come back. So that is a form. You're made aware of the amount of time that you do have. Strengthening your leadership skills. That's what time management will do for you. From an organizational standpoint, it lets your boss, everyone involved in the organization, know that when you have a teleconference, you indicate that what the time's going to be, and you adhere to that time. You manage your time very well. That's extremely important because it lets the participants know that when you say it's going to start on time and it's going to end on time, they can manage their time as well, which means they're anxious to get in there. They know that if he says it's going to start at 10, it will, and if it's going to end at 11, it will. So it's very important in managing that resource. When it comes to personal individuals, as far as the time and time management, once again, it's a matter of, I know when I plan my day, and I'm going to be in this particular teleconference, that I know when it's going to start, so I can plan my day around that. And it also lets the participants know that you're really concerned about their needs as well as your own. Yes, I have my teleconference. Yes, I need to have you folks in it. But I'm also aware that you're taking time from your day to participate and actively be engaged in this session. So it's time management conveys that. Time management lets everyone know that we have X amount of time and that we will adhere to that schedule.
We're coming to the close of this module. Gene, remind us of the benefits of time management.
Well, the benefits are numerous. Number one, it forces you to plan your event. 2, it enables others to plan their day, as I mentioned earlier. It also encourages more succinct answers, because everybody knows they have a certain amount of time to get this done.
Yeah, with some people, that's actually not the case.
That's true, and
unfortunately,
we're going to work on that in another module on how to manage that. It also empowers you to be an iron fist when necessary, and by that I mean everybody knows how much time has been allotted, so when you have to step in and say, Larry, that's great, Larry, but we only have so much time here, and I think we can address that afterwards, or we can possibly put it on a future agenda. And what all of this does is it enhances your time management skill.
And leadership skill.
The more you do it, the better you get at it. It's not a slam dunk. It's something that you really have to work at. But you will see results when you do. You will make people say, great, I love to go to meetings with Gene because he knows what he's doing as far as managing the time. Cornelius, here are 3 tips to time management, and they're in a sequence that I think is very effective. First, you want to fit the participants to the content. That is, you want to make sure that the individuals that should be there are there. Next, you want to fit the content to the frequency. Is this just going to be a daily meeting for 15 minutes, or is it going to be an hourly meeting once a week, or a 2-hour meeting on a monthly basis? And that dovetails nicely into fit the frequency into the allotted time. If you only have so much time or so much people are available at certain times, then that really dictates the frequency. So time is the delimiter in that sense.
So let me see if I get this right. So if I know what the content is of my meeting, I make sure, that's step 1 here, that I invite the right participants. I don't invite anybody who's not really going to be able to contribute to that content.
That's
right?
correct.
Then, depending on the content, is it a lot of stuff that we're discussing? Is it small items that we're discussing? I can set the frequency. So a huge meeting is probably not going to be daily, but if I have small items so that the content is limited, I can have this meeting happen every day.
That's correct.
And because I'm having it every day, I'm making sure that it's not going to be 3 hours in duration every day.
That's
But
correct.
if it's a 3-hour meeting, then I have to set the frequency to be so that it happens only every 6 weeks, for instance, so that people don't get annoyed. He's inviting me to yet another 3-hour meeting. It was just one last week.
Yes.
Okay,
People
that makes
will
sense.
come to meetings as long as they're productive. When they're not productive, they tend to find excuses not to attend. So you really need to be able to manage your time. Now it's time to take action. And I provided a time management worksheet. I think you need to take a look at that and incorporate it into the approach that you're going to be using in your teleconferencing as far as managing time. It'll be very effective, it'll be very helpful, and it'll give you a guide so that you can go through, do it, and then come back and evaluate what you've done so you can make improvements and become more efficient and more effective in managing time.